You ever think you passed a golf fitness test, only to find out later that you completely cheated? Yeah, that was me. Turns out my glutes weren't just weak, they were basically dead. I thought I was crushing glute bridges and deadlifts. I thought I had passed the TPI assessment for glutes. But here's the thing, my hamstrings were doing all the work. So technically my glutes weren't firing at all. I was faking it.
He was not actually using his glutes.
And in golf, glutes are kind of a big deal. Unless you like weak drives, lower back pain, and early extension, which frankly, I'm quite sick of. If your job has you sitting at a desk most of the day, go ahead and stop and pause the video right now and try a glute bridge. Lift up, feel your glutes, feel your hamstrings, and see which one it feels like is working more. If you spend a lot of your time sitting around, you may be as surprised as I was about what's really going on down there. When I listen to pros talk about their swings, I often hear them say things like, I'm trying to engage the glutes, or I want to fire my glutes through the downswing. Even Tiger Woods once withdrew from a tournament because he couldn't get his glutes to activate. So yeah, apparently this muscle group I couldn't use was the same one pros and experts say is the engine of the golf swing. Which is awesome. No wonder my swing's been terrible for so long. Not only that, but the glutes are one of the largest muscle groups in the body. So if they're dormant, that probably doesn't bode well for my overall physical health and mobility. If they're weak, then that's going to put extra strain and pressure on neighboring joints and muscles. Which is what happened to Tiger. The inactive glutes were affecting his lower back, causing him enough pain that he couldn't even bend down and pull his ball out of the hole. Billy Horschel, his playing partner, was kind enough to do it for him. That's not where I want to be, so I'm trying to figure out how to wake up my backside.
So I googled how to wake up the glutes, and I got suggestions for all the typical exercises people say would isolate the glutes, but not for me. My hamstrings were partying like it was 1999. So I dug deeper, and I learned I needed to re-establish the connection between my mind and my glutes. To help with that, experts suggested putting a hand on your butt during your exercises to kind of signal to the mind where to squeeze, and then just keep practicing until you get it. It's like my hamstrings would activate, and then pull the glutes along for the ride. By the time my glutes were active enough, my hamstrings would begin cramping. And then it got even more in the weeds. A couple people suggested just lying there with your hand on your butt and just trying to squeeze with the force powers of your mind. It felt stupid because nothing was happening. They said it could take a week or two, but just keep at it because eventually things would click. And that was a bit too long for me, and I didn't want to have to deal with all the questions from the kids.
Dad, what are you doing?
Squeezing my buttocks. The only way that I could actually isolate my glutes was to stand here with my feet fanned out like an awkward penguin and squeezing. Not exactly a tour pro drill, but at least it was helping me understand the state of things. Finally, I found this one exercise from Conor Harris that actually got things moving. The next day, my butt was sore, which is the best sign of progress I'd had so far. And yes, I did celebrate sore glutes, because that's where we're at. Yeah, I struggled at first when I was trying to do this drill, do this exercise, to try to figure out how to really get it into the glute and not feel it in the hamstring. But I really just kind of focused on that image that he showed of the hip flexing and the glute stretching. And so when I'm going down, that's what I'm thinking about. I'm kind of bending my hips, turning my hips towards the glute that I'm trying to engage. And then I'm really just focusing on trying to stretch my glute muscle away from the hip and just kind of thinking about that as an image. And as I'm coming down into it, I can really feel it through here and less in my hamstring. And then just pushing through the ground and flexing that glute to try to lift my body up. Even after a week of doing this drill, it still wasn't translating into other exercises, but at least now there were signs of life. About this time, I started physical therapy for my back and rib, so I figured I'd ask for help. Okay, start with the glute bridge. What do you feel? Yeah, my hamstrings are cramping. Huh. Okay, let's try clamshells. Put this band on, and I want you to try to activate your glute before you do a rep. Yeah, I swear I don't feel anything when I try to activate the glute. And the hamstrings are still pretty active. Even the simple stuff was still frustrating. Rewiring the mental connection felt impossible. Every rep felt like I was trying to reboot an old Windows computer. Lots of waiting, lots of error messages. But after a few days working on it at home, playing around with different angles, trying to shake loose the hamstrings, I could finally do clamshells without the hamstrings. In the beginning, I would have to start a rep,
then kind of shift around to get the hamstrings to turn off, hold it, and then release. But now I can do a full rep start to finish without the hamstrings trying to butt in. In addition to doing clamshells, the PT assigned me 4 variations of monster walks to do every day to really beat those glutes into submission from every angle. First, standard side to side.
Get lower.
Then zigzag, where you move side to side but step at an angle forward and back.
Get lower.
Then railroad tracks.
Get lower.
Walking forward, feet going in a straight line, stepping heel to toe. And then backwards, toe to heel. And then skaters, acting like a speed skater, zigzagging side to side as you move forward.
2 weeks after my initial attempts, and I was finally waking up the glutes. Still painfully slow, but at least now I have hope. But even if I do build a solid glute engine, I still can't make a full backswing without things breaking down. My spine and back muscles are still too stiff to swing freely, and that's where we go next.